If you want to own a clothing brand in 2026, your chances are slim to none because there's a lot of things you don't know. If you want to achieve your wildest dreams, I'm talking buy fancy cars, market your product effectively, see people wearing your clothes on their back, then I'm going to be the guy who's going to get you to that point right now. If you just want to make a few $1,000s, you just want to make a quick bag and you want to get out of here, then please don't watch this video because nothing here is going to make complete sense to you. Because the information I'm about to give you is not generic, regurgitated information. Like, no one talks about this in the market. This is strictly designed for people who want success, who want glory, and who want growth. So if you're not cut from that cloth, then leave this video, but come back when you are. Now, the basis of my company, Yana Consulting, and myself is psychology. I mean, I went to university, I've studied clinical psychology, I know a lot about the mind, and I've studied a stupid amount of books about psychology. Like I said, I run my own consulting company where we help brands get from 4 figures to 5 and high 6 figures and retain that consistently, because it's not just about making a good result, but making sure a good result stays consistent. And without further ado, we'll get into the video. If you're watching this, I'm sure you can forgive me for trying to make an honest dollar, but I really do want to help you guys. So let's get into it. I've studied over 100 clothing brands, as you can see on the screen here. Like, I've genuinely looked at their brands, gone through their websites, looked through their emails. Like, I've seen how they drop. I analyze a lot of the behavior, watch the content. I know I'm kind of a weirdo, but I've meticulously really taken the time to study clothing brands. So I want you to understand, before you even watch this video, no information I'm going to give is regurgitated. It's not just going to be things I thought in my head. This is actually fed through a framework and a proper way of thinking. So without further ado, I know that was a long intro, but let's get straight into it. So then this begs the question, why are some brands so successful? Is it their strategy? No. Is it their product, their hoodies, their t-shirts, their joggers, their pants? No. Is it their audience? No. Is it their film production, the fancy videos? No. Is it their marketing? No. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say to you. The reason why brands become so successful is simply because of their psychology. It's because of their psychology. These are what we call cognitive biases. As you can see on the screen, you're probably like, what the hell is this? You're looking at 180 different cognitive biases. And simply, if you've watched the first video, a cognitive bias is a shortcut to the way you think. What is a cognitive bias? How does it even relate to clothing brands, huh? If you can't critically think because TikTok has rotted your brain, then you're probably thinking, how does this relate to my brand, Mercs, Isaac? Give me my ads, bro. Oh my God. Like, give me the Shopify glitch, bro. Nah, this guy's yapping. Well, my dear founder, a cognitive bias is simply a brain shortcut that helps you decide fast, but sometimes makes you wrong. Or the more complex definition, a predictable shortcut in the way our brains interpret information, one that helps us decide quickly, but can also quietly stir us towards making mistakes. That was the cognitive bias codex, which I just showed you 180 biases, 180 different shortcuts your brain might make. And bear in mind there are more, but I just showed you 180. Just take a moment to think about that. Now, another thing I want to reiterate is I'm not saying you have all 180. Do not panic, but you definitely have a few there. And I will put the link in the description for the cognitive bias codex so you can actually look at it yourself because it's very interesting. Now, how many shortcuts do you think you have? Like if you have to guess, like how many shortcuts do you think you have? How many times does your brain automatically come to a conclusion before you consciously decide to make a decision? How many clothes do you have in your wardrobe that you can't provide a logical and rational logical explanation as to why you bought? Why did you make that brain shortcut to buy a product? Why? Take a moment to critically think about what I'm saying. I want you to pause the video because you have bought things, done things, been places, acted in ways you can't even explain. Your brain is taking shortcuts and suddenly you've ended up at a conclusion. I promise I'm not trying to make you become a scholar. I'm not telling you to become Socrates and think about everything in existence, but because your attention span is less than a goldfish and you're already getting bored, we have to exercise that brain. And P.S. My brain has a 6-pack, but your brain is a bit bloated. Wait. Let's go back. Did you notice anything about your behavior just then? You probably didn't, Because when the last slide showed, where was your attention? Like, was it to the words or was it to the highlighted text? Because I want you to realize, why is it that we focus on the highlighted part? Why did we pay attention to that part in particular of the message? And I bet you read that line before listening to me or even reading the other words. This is what we call attentional bias and sailor's bias. These two things you just used in that moment. So sailor's bias, you focus on something because it stands out. Attentional bias, you focus on something because your brain is already tuned to it, okay? But what is the whole point of me talking about biases? And why did I go on a tangent about it? How does this relate to making anyone buy your brand? Well, it's simply because you have to use psychology to make your brand successful. Every single brand has done it. Every single successful brand will do it and continue to, either intentionally or unintentionally. You need to cognitively convince people to buy into the idea of your brand. It's not about your product. It's not about your cool hoodie. It's not about your brand name. It's not about your location. It's not about your collections. It's not about your design, and it is not about your taste. This matters, of course, but it's not the core of your brand. And I wonder if that red text, highlighted text, caught your attention again. Let me know. Now, your next question is, well, Mercs, what biases should I use/know to psychologically and cognitively convince people to buy? Great question, my beautiful founder. You're thinking like a proper businessman now. I've already given you 3, and that's the hint. The last video, salus bias and attentional bias. But there is more. I'm not going to leave you unfed, do not worry. By the time this video ends, you will know how to use the one bias this video is trying to teach you how to use. Hit that sub button because we're just getting started. So if you've watched the previous video, we talked about this thing called cognitive biases. And essentially a cognitive bias is the way the brain operates. It's the way you think. Just think of it like a shortcut. Like if you had to think consciously every time you had to open up a bottle of water, then you would probably get exhausted every time you want to do a task. So a cognitive bias is essentially a shortcut your brain takes in order to get from point A to point B with minimal effort, right? So the next bias we're going to look at is what we call scarcity bias. And this is something that brands use that you're probably not aware of, but you probably have an idea of. So let me introduce you to it. So in all of humanity's history, there has never been a surplus of things. I need you to remember this. In all of humanity's history, there has never been a surplus like this of things. We have access to an incredible amount of resources. We have access to light, we have access to food, we have access to water, we have access to shelter, we have access to clothes, accessories, shoes, equipment, technology, and so many different advances. One thing is still embedded into the human psyche, and that is scarcity. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. Even though we have all these abundant resources now, it wasn't always that way. At one point, that's supposed to say one by the way, at one point, getting food for the day or the week was an achievement. So think about this, your ancestors, our great, them getting a deer for the whole tribe to eat was an achievement. That was like an accomplishment for the week. And then that was it. Next thing you know, we need to go back on the fields and get another deer or get another rabbit to eat, right? But now we have a surplus. But now it's as easy to get food as it is to breathe. You can walk across the shop in your street and purchase some food, okay? Like I have a shop opposite my house right here. If I want to get anything to eat, if I'm feeling a little bit peckish, I can literally just leave the house quickly and grab anything I want to eat. And think about it, there's food in supermarkets. I don't know if you guys shop at, I'm in the UK, I don't know if you guys in America or Norway or Sweden or wherever you guys are, but like things like Aldi or like let's say Target, or let's say Asda, for example, or Morrison's, things like that, right? Tesco's, corner shops, in the UK at least, deli stores, petrol stations, and so many places. But the thing is, there is still scarcity. And we're going to do some exercises to get a better understanding of this. Because if you remember what I said at the start of this video, it's not about giving you information. I want to, like as a consultant, and I do this for my clients, I want to make sure you think, right? Like if I spoon feed you the information, then you won't be able to think. I'm trying to get you to think better, okay? So you can think from a different framework, the way I think. So let's do a few exercises to get that brain working, okay? Because I have a 6-pack of a brain and you have like your brain's a bit bloated. I want you to look at all these brands on the screen. I know it's transparent, but just quickly have a look at all these brands, okay? We have, Giorgio Armani, we have Ralph Lauren, we have Dolce & Gabbana, we have Gucci, we have Chanel, we have Hermes, we have Burberry, we have Marni, we have Mason, Margiela, we have Balmain. I actually have that perfume, actually. I'm about to put you guys on this perfume right here. Yo, the amount of compliments I got on this shit, I've just put you onto a perfume I really shouldn't have. Yeah, if you know, you know. It's a very nice perfume to start with, honestly. But yeah, the thing is, as you look at these brands, what do you think of them? Like, take a minute to look at them, okay? Now, did you think that these brands were expensive, luxurious, powerful, intimidating? Maybe I can never afford that, or there's only a limited stock with these brands. Did then thoughts come and course through your mind? Okay, we're going to use another example. So I want you to look at these 4 cars. It's all BMW. Yes, I'm a bit biased to BMW. We love BMW. Now, I want you to look at all these cars. The BMW M4 CS. If you don't know this car, it's just an M4 competition. It's been very popular. A lot of guys want it. A lot of girls want it. It's a very popular car. But this is the CS version. So it's kind of like the sports side of the M4, right? And there's only 1,700 in the world. Another one, we have the BMW M1. So this is the first M1 competition, like the M1. We have 453 in the world. And we have the BMW NASA C2. There is only 3 of these cars in the entire world. And the final thing is we have the E46 M3 GTR, and there is only 10 of these in the entire world. Let me ask you, right? Because these cars are all incredibly rare. But what if I told you right now that you, yes, you could own one of them? I know you've looked at these cars and you're like, like, these are rare, like, I want it, right? But why? Like, why do you want it? Because, I mean, why have these cars instead of something like this? A Toyota Yaris. I'm sure some of you guys will want this car. It's a very reliable car. Very reliable. The amount of times I got gapped by this car on the motorways is stupid, right? But why not have this car, this Toyota, instead of a BMW M4 CS? Because if you really look at the car at first principle, and first principle means, let's just say, taking things down to its most basic form. At first principle, meaning at its most basic form, all these cars are simply an energy source, okay? Or a machine that converts stored energy into a controlled environment to transport people or objects. That's all it is. It's literally just a machine. It just uses energy and takes you from here to there. That's all a car is. It's nothing special, okay? So it's also got 5 things in them. We got an energy source, which is fuel or electricity. We have an energy converter, which is the engine or the motor. We have the motion systems, which is the wheels, the drive chain, the chassis, all that stuff. We have the control system. This is the steering, the brakes, the pedals. And we have the structure, the frame, to hold it all together. So all you really want when you look at the M4 is you just want a cooler, shinier piece of metal. So then ask yourself, why do I want the rarer machine that converts stored energy into controlled movement? Because that's all a car is. It's just a machine that converts stored energy into controlled movement. Why do I want the rarer version of a machine that, you know, when you actually look at things at first principle, you start to see like kind of how silly things are, right? But simply put, the real reason why you may want the rarer thing is simply because of 3 things: status, evolution, and what we call perceived value, especially perceived value. So let's look at status. Now, status is simply, if something is rare, not everyone can have it. And if everyone can have it, if not everyone can have it, and you do, then that signals power, resources, or uniqueness. Look at it back in the day, the kings, the royals, they would be the most successful, they would be the most feared, the most revered, because they had power, they had resources, and they had unique. It wasn't like the mass, okay? Another thing, evolution. This falls down to our biology. In early human history, scarce resources such as food, land, mates, tools meant survival. Our brains evolved to treat it scarce as important. That way, for example, you wouldn't waste food hundreds and thousands of years ago. There's no such thing as a bin. Bro, you would eat every single animal you caught to the last bone. You probably might even eat the bone as well, because if you don't eat, then it's GG's, okay? And the final thing we have is what we call perceived value. And this is a very important thing. So essentially, perceived value is the whole idea where we subconsciously assume, because of evolution, that if something is rare, then it must be valued. And perceived value also falls into the category of rare. It can also fall into the category of authority. Like, if you see something as authoritative, or if you see something greater than you, then you automatically perceive it as valuable. So right now, I might be presenting myself as an authority figure because I can drop the bomb like, oh, I've gone to uni, I've studied clinical psychology, I'm institutionally, backed. I'm institutionally certified. Graduation certificates. Like, when I say things like this, it makes you believe what I'm saying even more, even if I could be chatting a load of bullshit. So that's why it's very, very important that wherever you take any information online, you take it with a grain of salt. And the same applies to me. If any of the information I'm saying does not make sense to you, take it with a grain of salt, okay? These are all our ancestors, you know what I'm saying? I can't use better pictures from the last video, because if you've seen the last video, we was looking like a homunculus. Humans acquire things because biologically, our brains are wired to treat scarcity like survival. Now, back then, all right, if something was limited, either food, water, shelter, you had to grab it before it disappeared or you were dead. And the same instinct is still running in today, all right? Except now it's not fighting for berries, it's fighting for a limited drop hoodie and other things, of course, right? Now, when something is rare, your brain releases dopamine and starts treating it like it's automatically more valuable. Plus, it triggers that fear of missing out, because you don't want to be that person where I can't be the one who didn't get it. And that's exactly why clothing brands, for example, do exclusive drops, not because the product is magical, but because scarcity bias makes people want it more just because it's harder to get. It's our caveman brain getting manipulated by a brand logo to which these founders have strategically placed immense value on. The big question we have now is, how can we create scarcity in our brand? Because, how do we use this then? How can we apply this mental construct into our work, our clothes, our community, our audience, our work? There are only really 3 things you need to incorporate, especially if you're just beginning. right? This won't apply as much to big brands because they already have social proof. You already have sellouts. You already have people wearing your clothes. So if you're a bigger brand, scarcity bias, like this won't be as useful for you because it's already embedded in your system. It's already embedded in your clothing line. Like you already see people having it, and you're already, I'm assuming, doing exclusive drops where only a certain amount of people get it, and there's already people wearing your clothes. Like if you're already making, like, let's say 20 to 50k a month, then scarcity isn't that bad, but you can make it even more. Like trust me, you can incorporate this. It does not matter what level you are. This is simply to use scarcity. I promise you, it doesn't matter how big of a brand you are or how small of a brand you are. Using scarcity will always make you, because there is nothing more that makes money in this life other than value, perceived value. When people see things as valuable and they also see it as it fixes a painful problem for them, they are willing to pay thousands. That's why as a consultant, and I'm going to be real with you here, that's why as a consultant, a growth consultant, a scale consultant, when I go there and I'm talking to these clients, they're willing to pay thousands because it solves such a painful problem for them and it has so much value. That's the exact same thing you need to apply into your brand. You cannot make a brand that everyone can wear. You should not make a brand everyone can wear. Not everyone is supposed to wear your clothes on their back. Only the people that you have chosen should be allowed, because it makes the people who wear it feel chosen. And just to put into perspective, if you was to sell like a tracksuit for £100 or $100, and you only sold to 100 people in your niche, well, 100 times 100, how much are you making? That's easy 10k. Let me just make sure. Let me just make sure the rest is right. 100 times 100. Yep, 10k. I was right. Woohoo! We got the Miro board, okay? So we have the Miro board. I know this isn't the most flashy thing, but this is really going to put into perspective on how you can use this framework, because I've actually looked at brands and I've broken it down. And on top of this, you're actually going to get a worksheet to apply this. So once again, I want to make this very clear. Any video I make or any piece of content you're going to watch from this channel, you're not just going to get information to think about it, theory craft it. I have a worksheet for you to actually apply this and start looking at your brand. Now, once again, let me reiterate this. If you do want to work with us, because we do this on a one-to-one basis with our clients and really look at that one constraint and bottleneck and get rid of it, okay? Then check us out on the link in the description, book a call. And yeah, if you like the way these videos are, it's pretty much, imagine just my handsome face and your beautiful face on a call, or in real life if we fly out and we talk to each other, we look at your brand and we're succeeding, right? Make that 100k for you. Now, anyways, let's get into this. So we have 3 different steps that we're going to look at real quick in order to add scarcity bias into your brand if you haven't already. Now, here's step 1, access. This is super, super important. If you remember what I just said a minute ago, if you was to sell out your clothes to 100 people, those 100 people should be the people you've chosen. Because why? When people buy your clothes, they will feel like they were chosen to buy it. Okay, so this is access. Not everyone can get in, and not everyone should get in. Only your niche, only your community can get in, because your niche or the people you're trying to target is very broad. Like your niche, your target audience can be 100,000 people, but really and truly, you want your community to buy, because if you can foster this relationship with these maybe 300 people that buy your clothes, right? They're gonna buy every single time. And trust me, like a lot of clothing brands tend to think that I need maybe tens and thousands of people. I need 100,000 community, or I need maybe 5,000 people buying my clothes. If you have 300 people buying your clothes, then you're gonna easily make anywhere from 20 to 50. Now, if you want more, of course you're gonna maybe need 1,000, but multiple people can buy more than one thing. I want you to remember that. If every person spends like 200 on your store and there's like 100 people, I want you to do the math and figure out how much money you're gonna make. Now, this is what we call access scarcity. Because if you're looking at scarcity bias, we're going to break it down even more. Now, access scarcity. Make access to the product difficult. And this is very important. Please take notes. Please. I want you to make access to the product incredibly difficult, but make purchasing it incredibly easy. You want this contradiction, because you do not want, like, I've looked at so many competitors, bro, where like they have an amazing product, but their site is just so hard to navigate. You want your product to be so hard to get, but when it comes to buying, I'm talking Apple Pay, I'm talking Shop Pay. I don't give a flip what you want to do. Like, it should be a click of the button, right? It should be so easy to get the product, because remember, when you're dropping your product, so many people are going to be running for it. So make the access to the product difficult, yet make purchasing it easy, right? Now, this is a business called Soho Works, and they're essentially just like a retail company and stuff like that, where they kind of sell properties and stuff there. But the interesting thing about Soho Works here is that, as you can see from this diagram, in order for you to actually, and this is insane, in order for you to actually like look at like the place you want to be at, or like maybe an office or something you want to get, you need to kind of sign up. Not kind of, you need to sign up. You need to include a lot of details. Like you need to literally sign up to get the things. I'm not talking about making a Google account. Like look at this right here. You need to attach a recent headshot of yourself. What? You need to add your location. You need to add things about your business. You need to add your name, your details. I hope this is no real person, because Mamma mia. Soho Works, right, requires even images of your face in order to access their property. And what this is, not everyone can get in the door to buy. It's you need to access before you need money. Because I promise you, when you have that thing that even money cannot buy, mamma mia, you're going to want that. Let's look at another brand. So we have this other brand called Amy Leon Dor. I don't think I can say this right. But essentially, they have a private season sale where you can only get like this collection at a certain time. And it's a thing where it's like, if you guys know anything about, like, let's say NFTs, right? And I'm not in crypto here, but if you know NFTs, right? The people who have the most expensive NFT, what was that one expensive NFT that was like a gorilla or something like that? I don't remember, but it was like some ape. There was just a bunch that were very expensive. And the reason why they were so expensive is because you can only get them at a certain time, right? But yeah, let's continue. The next thing we have as well is Nike. You know Nike, they be violating all the time. This is the Air Jordan 1, a very common shoe, but in order to get the shoe, you need to be notified, and it includes a time to which you can purchase the item again. So the whole point is, okay, when we look at step 1 and it's access, right? People want something that feels members only. Like, it's only for my boys. It's only for my people, right? And once again, I've said this many times, being chosen feels better than just purchasing, because they will spend a heavy penny if they're chosen. If access is restricted, the item feels automatically more valuable. And another thing about being chosen is another bias we call reciprocity. I'm just dropping game on you right now. Another bias called reciprocity. The whole idea is, if I do something good for you, you're going to do something back to me because I've done something good for you. So if you go out your way to choose your customers, they'll feel two things. Number one, they'll feel like, damn, I need to pay this person back for choosing me. It is such a privilege to be chosen, so I need to buy. And another thing, they're going to feel guilty for not buying anything, because it's like, out of all these people that like you could have chosen, you chose me and I'm not going to get anything. What about all these people that wanted things? I need to buy something. You got them. All right. Remember, I'm teaching you how to sell. I'm teaching you how to sell. I know some brands, for example, have been doing this. They have these WhatsApp communities, and they have this like invite only approval. So apply instead of buy. And that's such an interesting terminology. Imagine you go to a site and the drop is about to happen. And like, if you didn't apply, you can get it. But the clothes are fire. I would cry in my bed. I'll be like, damn, why didn't I apply last time? Next time I'm going to apply. So I know a lot of people who have WhatsApp communities, Instagram communities. I think it's called that Instagram broadcasting, Discord communities, email lists, things like this, right? And they also have like early access tiers. So VIPs get first shot. Everyone else waits. So if you know anything, like, for example, if you're a big brand, you might do this where you send SMSs to a certain designated amount of people. They go into the store first and they buy. If you're on email list, you might be like a special person who signed up first and you're going to get access to it first. So access via email or SMS only, exclusive access drops, randomized or behavior based. I even know some brands that have done this, right? That, for example, because they've seen some of their customers buy things, they've even gone out the way, because they have like their address, they've gone out the way to send like a little postcard and like give them like a little discount and a code for the next time the site opens, and like in a nice envelope. I know some brands have done this. It's insane. And they're like, oh, next time, thank you so much for purchasing with us. You were the first person to sign up on our email list, or like purchase something from us. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the code. Next time the site opens, you're going to be the first one in. And if you're getting that through the post from a brand you bought, you're thinking, nah, I'm being with this brand forever, because it's like they're taking good care of you, right? So here's some copy you'll see. These are some like usable lines. And by copy, like, this is what brands use: invite only, early access unlocked, members get first entry, or you've been selected. Okay, and here's some brands that are doing it. Once again, we're going to look at the same brands. We have Nike, so they have exclusive access, which is literally an invite-only drop designed to reward members. So if you shop with Nike for for a certain amount of time, you're spending a lot of money with them on points. You get like this. You get invited to events, or I know, like, for example, my brother, he got invited to this Nike event. But you can get invited, and another one of my friends, he works at Nike, so things like that. We have and this is literally the website. As you can see, I pointed here. They use an application form and membership types. So access is the product, not the product itself. Like, if you go on the website, you need to apply for membership. You can't just get in there and get a property. Like, who do you think you are? You know? And Emir Delors has sent exclusive access style emails and links for private sales or early access. Now, the thing is, I couldn't get an image because I'm not a member. Now, the whole point is, with the first step, you want to create access. And how you do this is through numerous ways. Like I said, SMS or email lists or invite only as well. A good way as well to look at brands, see what they're doing. But I've seen a lot of people add WhatsApp communities and Discord communities. So if you have a bunch of people in your brand and you're not inviting them to any form of community, like you're not funneling them to a different place, you're really making a big mistake, and you need to make a community. So open up that Instagram, open up that WhatsApp, open up that Instagram podcast, okay, Discord, email list, and get people in, because people need to feel like they're exclusively in. And another thing you can do, a brilliant idea that I seen another brand do, is like on Discord, they would host events and games, and what they would do, they'd have some of their team interact with some of the community, and this is how you build trust. They'd interact with some of the community, and then what would happen is that if they won those games, they would get a role in the Discord, and this role would mean that they're exclusively they have exclusive access to the website when it opens. So things like that. You can be very creative with how you give your members exclusive access, and the worksheet as well will help with that. Step 2, attention. Now, the scarce thing isn't the hoodie, it's your time as a founder, your capacity as a founder, and an ability to serve. I see a lot of founders do this. There is power in a lack of presence. And I'm not saying you want your community to be intimidated by you, but they have to have a level of respect for you. Now, here's a brand I've been looking at. For example, this is Mertra. I'm sure you've seen this. After they changed their logo, things just blew up. They've just been doing amazing. But yeah, this is the brand. As you can see, it looks amazing. We got flat lays. We got people wearing the clothes. If you remember the first video I said when I talked about the 7 different steps on how to create social proof bias, watch that video, because you need people to like wear your clothes. As you can see, flat lays, people wearing the clothes, and models, Lil Yachty's there, you know, things like that. Then we have the actual owner of Mertra, and he has 100,000 followers. He's doing pretty well. You can see his Instagram just looks Now, if you're just starting out and you don't have flipping Maserati or Jaguar or a BMW M8 or, you know, M3 M Comp, you can still present your way in a way that builds authority. It's never about the things you have. It's just about how you make it perceived. Because right now, like, I know that a lot of the information I'm saying right now may seem like, damn, this might be an authority figure. You might not be thinking that. You might be looking at me being like, this guy's waffling. But if you are looking at me like, damn, this person knows what they're saying, it's because I'm presenting the information in a way that is professional, concise, and giving it to you in a way that you can digest and actually respect me for giving it to you. Pause. Here's another one, Broken Planet. I'm sure you guys have seen this. It's an amazing brand. Love their clothes. You know, the brand is already fire. I'm sure you already know it. If you don't know what Broken Planet is, you know, it's just one of them clothing brands. Very, very popular. Sell tracksuits, amazing tracksuits. When they first, like earlier, I remember back in college when I seen them come up, they used to have like this big Broken Planet on the chest. It was like brown hoodies, blue hoodies, amazing brand. They do very, very well. And this is the owner as well. His name is Luca. He posts a lot of value-based content on his personal page as well. That's another good thing you can do, giving a lot of value to your community. And yeah, but the thing is, the whole point I'm trying to make here, and like with Trickle, for example, as well, this is another brand. If you've seen him on TikTok, is posted a lot of TikTok where he used the AI voice, and like his marketing was very, very good, like very on point. And the way he would like market it and show it off was a very concise and clean way. And this gave him a lot of authority because people wanted to buy his brand because his marketing was just that good. And if you see his brand, like, you know, we have flat lays, we have people wearing the clothes. It just brings all authority. And him himself, you can see just amazing pictures. The whole point I'm trying to make is, if the creator and the brand is too available, it'll feel less premium. And limited capacity signals demand plus quality. People move faster when the bottleneck is a human, okay? And the whole point is, your personal brand, I know all I said is like, what the hell? But the whole point is, your personal brand should reflect your success, even if you can't show it. You do not need to show people 100,000 sales in Shopify. You just need to show people that you're possible of achieving that. Step 3, which is the outcome. The product isn't scarce, the status and result is. Most people won't ever be like this. You want people at the end, okay, even if, for example, your clothing brand or the drop flops, you want it to still be presented in a way that this is not the norm. And most people will never get their hands on it. In fact, you can be like, good. Reinforce the fact that it didn't drop. Good. My brand isn't for everyone. It's for the people who want it. Wait till you see what I'm going to do. And then continue to iterate and ideate and continue to improve your brand and grow and grow and grow until you become more and more successful. But the whole point is, right, with Trickle, for example, they have this like password thing. And this fall back into the first step, which was access, where the outcome is if you do not get inside this thing right now, you're not going to be a part of what we got going on. And it doesn't matter whether I sell out or not. If you're not part of it, you're not part of it. Only the people who are going to be part of it are part of it. And the people who are going to be part of it, they're going to get blessed. Okay? And I promise you, people love supporting clothing brands they think are going to succeed. Perceived value. Outcome scarcity is when the product isn't rare, but the result is. Like the brand makes it feel like owning the piece means you are a part of a small group that made it or has taste, status, or access that most people don't. Because I promise you, a lot of people like underground clothing brands. They're like, oh yeah, not many people have this, bro. Like this is that clothing brand that hasn't blown up yet. I'm so glad, like, bro, not everyone has it. Like I'm walking in the street and I don't see another guy having it. It's blessed, bro. So it's not even about the hoodie being limited. It's about what wearing it signals that you're not average. You're the one of the few who gets it. That's why brands like Hermes don't even need to scream limited stock, because the real scarcity is the outcome. Not everyone gets to own it. Not everyone gets treated like that, and not everyone gets to be seen at that level. So people don't just buy the product, they buy the identity and flex that comes with it. Okay? For example, a black card. Like if you was to get like an American Express black card, right? Or like something like that, they send the thing in like a post and then you get to open it and it's just beautiful and you get all these rewards. And the reason why people rave over this is because it's not actually about the product. It's not about the card. Like I don't give a shit about the card. Right? It's a black card. It's a metal card. Woohoo! No. I open the box. I get treated like a VIP. I get treated like a king. Incorporate that. Okay, this is, for example, another thing. This is a brand owner. His name is I don't know his name, but his brand is called Blanks. And in the comments, for example, as you can see, these people are like, oh, these are the same comment. There was another comment I seen, but I guess I copied it wrong, I guess. But yeah, there was 2 comments. A person was like, oh, when is this next getting restocked? I missed it. But the other comment was just dropped, hope to get so much. As you can see, that's outcome, right? And that's the whole thing about the members only, right? Outcome scarcity isn't about making the product rare. It's about making the result of owning it rare. Position your clothing as a badge of identity, not just fabric. It should say something about the person. It should say something about who the person is. Luxury brands don't rely on countdown timers because the real scarcity is what the product signals socially. Now, obviously, if you're not a luxury brand yet and you're not like Represent, or if you're not like, I don't know, Gucci's not that good anymore. But if you're not like Ralph Lauren and these big brands, right, you will need to rely on a countdown for now. And that's fine. But just remember, your goal isn't to have to rely on like, hey guys, it's dropping in 5 minutes, which is amazing. People love that. But if you want to break out of that like kind of niche clothing brand with a community and actually become like an industry, like actually become a thing where it is the damn near norm, right? Bro, you really want to move past just being a brand that relies on countdowns. But for now, you will grow. Like, you will make a fuck ton of money with the countdown, I'll tell you that. But imagine how much you can make without it when you don't need it, right? And obviously, you don't want your brand to become a commodity, but you do want it to become something that everyone wants without the countdown. Now, be extremely specific about who your brand is for and who is not. Niche focus creates identity. When customers feel represented, the purchase becomes about belonging, not just buying. Make the status feel earned through private drops, loyalty rewards, and early access. Feature real customers who reflect the identity your brand stands for. Over time, people stop buying for the design and start buying for the recognition and identity that comes with it. So, as you can see, this is the 3-step process. Step 1, access. You need to make sure that not everyone can access the product. Step 2, attention. Your attention as the founder is super important. Like, obviously, on your brand page, reply to comments, be engaging, tell people, but don't don't get to the point where you're just like replying to every comment like, hey, oh my god, I love you. Like, no. Relax. You're a brand owner, you're a company, you're a business, okay? People need to see your brand and be like, damn, if he replies to me, it's a privilege. I know that sounds kind of narcissistic to say, but do you want to fucking make money or not? Okay, cool. Now, attention. As on your personal page too, you want to make sure you're very, very, very meticulous about who you give your attention to. Now, and the final thing is outcome. You want to make sure the outcome is rare. You want to make sure the outcome of people wearing your clothes is completely insane. Here's a few ideas actually as well. I've seen a brand do this. Their clothing brand drop didn't go insane, but what the founder did was he actually drove with one of the parcels. He drove to deliver the parcel or deliver the order to their customers and recorded the whole thing and posted it on TikTok or Instagram. And they were like, oh, this is how we, treat our customers who invest in the brand. And simple things like that, you go out your way to, puts you strategically in a position where people just feel like, damn, like, I really should get these clothes. Like, no one else does this. Okay. So I'm telling you, there's some advantages you can have as a smaller brand. You can go, if you go the extra mile, I promise you, in an age, in a society where everyone does the bare minimum, if you go an extra mile and just be genuine and authentic, you will win the hearts of the people. So, as promised, I will give you the scarcity bias worksheet, and I want you to start using this workflow to implement into your brand. And now you can start to think the way that is necessary, so you can add scarcity into your brand if you haven't already. So, how to use scarcity bias to make people want your brand more. Now, when you get this document, because a person from the last video, they tried to edit this document directly. What you need to do instead is go to File up here, make a copy, okay, rename it to your own scarcity bias worksheet. Make a copy, and then boom, you have your own copy. You don't even need to edit this, don't worry. But yeah, so introduction. This document is a practical guide to help you apply scarcity bias to your brand in a strategic way. Let's get into it. Now, what scarcity bias is, just a reminder as you go through this, scarcity bias is when people want something more just because it feels limited, exclusive, or hard to get. That's all it is. So let's look at access scarcity first. I want you to make it feel like not everyone can buy. So here's some examples: invite-only drops, waitlist, private links, members-only collections. I want you to write down how you can make access limited for your brand. So I've given you a few examples. If you remember as well, when I said it in the video, I talked about SMS. So all you have to do, come in here, type in SMS, email lists, let's say a Discord community, community, what's another thing? Instagram broadcast. So yeah, just kind of fill the sheet in and pick a few different ways you're going to create limited access for your brand, because once again, you don't want everyone to be able to access it. Now, the second thing you want to add is attention scarcity. I want you to make it feel like you are limited, not just the product. People want to also buy into the founder. They want to buy into the person who's, making it. Because have you ever seen a big brand and think, damn, who's responsible for making this shit? Okay, it's you. So, for example, only 10 orders per week. We only take 5 clients per month. Now, obviously, you don't have to say this, and I'll iterate this. You don't have to say this. Like, don't say we only take 5 orders a month. You want to make as many orders as possible, but drops open for 24 hours, then close. Things like this, right? This is kind of just to give you an idea of the things you can say in order to give the attention. Like, oh, let me pay attention. We only, they only take like 50 orders, or like they only do XYZ, or it's not that available, like damn. Or like, for example, drops open for 24 hours, then close, like damn, I only have like 6 hours left, damn, oh my gosh, I need to hurry. Things like that, right? So here's a few ways you can write. You can write time slots, so you can be like, on Tuesday, our drop, we will leave the site open for 1 hour. Like that. Break your site, That's another thing. So yeah, add some time limits. And the final thing we have is outcome scarcity. Make it feel like owning your product means you're part of a rare group. And here's some examples. Not for everyone, only for the obsessed. If you get it, you get it. Reward loyal customers with exclusive pieces. This is really the important, right? Important. Another thing, reward loyal customers with exclusive pieces. And these are things like, go out to see them. Go out to see your customers. And an example I'd give is delivery by hand. Leave it by hand and record it. Things like that. Or send a postcard to the customer, and I've seen brands do this, a week later. Send a postcard to the customer a few days after the drop, giving them discounts and access to the next drop. Things like that, right? So, yeah. This is the whole point. Here's the scarcity bias worksheet. Use this, print it out, and this should give you an idea of how to be able to apply scarcity bias. I know this seems like, why the hell would I write in a worksheet? I need you to understand the reason why you're in the position you are now, and the reason why you're in the position you don't want to be right now is because you've made decisions that you've always wanted to make. You need to now make a decision you don't want to make. If you want to really grow your brand, you need to write in the worksheet. I know that sounds stupid, but this is genuinely going to help you. So once again, the worksheet is here for you. Make a copy of it, and bro, write these 3 steps. How you're gonna include scarcity bias? Because I've gone out of my way to make sure that you can apply this in a way that makes a lot of sense and easy. So go out your way and really use this. I'm really excited to see what you can do. If you guys like this video, please let me know. I have one more bias to go with you. So hit a like on this video and I'll make the last video for you guys. But yeah, see you guys soon and take care.